This is Ted, and we are live. It's Friday, April 4th, and I wanted to just start a week in review process. Probably put up every Friday around 2, 3 o'clock, just to give you an idea of what's been going on in the group, some of the topics that are of concern to most people, and some things we may have learned. This will be quick, it'll be short, a little admin, a couple of key points, and maybe some things to look forward to. So, first, units and tags. This group is set up a little differently. It's not the straight discussion group where you can't find anything. If you put a post up, you'll see the menu on the upper right-hand corner. If you drop it down, you can assign a tag to your discussion, and you can assign your discussion to a unit. Makes it easier to find things. It also means that you can jump right down into that unit and run your own discussion, and everything is right there. You find the units on the menu on the left-hand side of the page. It's right under the discussion tab. Okay, as we go to the units, I also have 5 unit leaders, all experts in their given expertise. Check it out. It's on the bottom of the list. And we're trying to cover the basis to bring some folks in to really focus on some issues and questions. So make sure you check down there. And if you got something specific, put it into that unit, and that leader will come back and start the discussion or moderate the discussion with you. Next, for the first time, I started a mentor program. This is new to Facebook. I did not know this thing existed in groups. The mentor program simply means that if you've got a level of expertise that you'd like to share with someone in this group, and you can also set it up literally around the world, you agree to become a mentor. How you set it up outside of Facebook is up to you, but basically it's designed for you to sit down at a time period that you elect to meet with your small group to mentor them in a topic. So it could be anything from fly tying to money behavior. And all I ask that this does not become a paid site, and that if you want to set up a paid relationship, you take care of that off the site. Okay, free course. I also put up some information that on our mypathfindercoaches.com site, we've freed up or eliminated all the freeze for the courses as long as we are locked down in this circumstance. So most of the courses they're primarily business courses, but they're good ones. Two that I'd highly recommend. One is called RTD, Rapid Training Design. If you've ever thought of designing training, or you do online training or any type of training, these are courses that me and my partner, Fred Parker, put together based on our experience designing coursework for the Marine Corps. One of my master's degrees in performance technology. And Fred also did 18 years with Exxon, designing training and teaching training around the world, primarily in Africa. So these are really quick, easy to follow tools and techniques to help you build better presentations, better courses and lessons, and how to do a job task analysis. And then the other course that I'd recommend is the Discover Your Money Temperament course, which is the paid course, which is a detailed deep dive into what we talk about in all my books. It includes the book we're talking about here, but it also includes the book I wrote previously with J. Alexander Martin. So much for that. What I can tell right now from the group is everybody is locked down and seems to be doing well. Everybody seems to be getting kind of used to the tempo and used to what's going on. The dominant note that I picked up on the discussions this week is the challenges of just finding food. I guess we've become a group of hunter-gatherers to some extent, that going from supermarket to supermarket to find things like ground beef and eggs and whatever. I also get the feeling from the group that things are getting better, not only here locally in the Augusta area, but also around the country. So the sudden note of that is lots of kids at home. And my hat's off to you that are taking care of that program. I watch it from afar, and it's amazing. It's going to be interesting, and once this thing's over with, how this is going to have an impact on how we teach and educate kids, the whole concept of distant learning and home-based learning, and how you think things are working. It'll also give you a really good insight as to how hard our teachers work. Okay, everybody seems to be okay. I've not picked up anything on the site that anybody's really hurting. I think as we get into this, I think it's important to stay connected and keep the community going. It's been my experience that first and foremost, the economic challenges of getting through this lockdown will start coming to a head probably within the next 30 days. I know there are going to be some people out there hurting. Do me a favor, take care of each other here, check on your neighbors, make sure people are okay. From what I can tell, there's a tremendous amount of support out there. A lot of it may be hard to find. So come in here, ask somebody. I guarantee there's somebody in this group that can help you get in the right direction to make better decisions with your money, help you get some professional help with regard to an advisor or somebody in the financial services industry, or more importantly, get you put into the right direction if you need help with the small business administration, government activity, or whatever. But take care of each other. We're going to be here for a while, unfortunately. But what I'm most encouraged about is everybody seems to be very optimistic. Everybody seems to be taking this in stride. Some of the humor of the group is really exciting. I've noticed that a lot of people have bought workout gear in the past and it's used for all kinds of different things except working out. Then finally, I posted two pieces that came directly out of the book on biases. Now, remember, a bias is nothing more than how we make decisions, and it's sometimes called a heuristic. It simply means that we don't have perfect information. Our brains are not computers. We use rules of thumb to help us make decisions quickly and efficiently. The problem with using rules of thumb is they're sometimes biased. And what that means is they're either based on bad information, misinformation, or flat wrong. And that can lead to challenges when you're trying to spend your money or choose, particularly if the decision is consequential. First bias I talk about was anchoring. Anchoring is something we're seeing today, and I put these two biases up: anchoring and availability biases were the two I talked about. Anchoring is when the first number that goes out there is the one that pops into your head and it gets stuck. So think of it, if you're in a car negotiation, that the person that's negotiating with you wants you to throw a number out because the salesperson realizes that that's the range that you're going to work with. And the problem is with anchored numbers, they're awful difficult to get out of your head. And right now, if you're watching TV or watching what's going on in Congress and the media, there's some numbers thrown around today that it's amazing on the impact of the C-19 virus, and you know, we're arguing over things that are difficult to prove, but more importantly, the number that was thrown out first is the one we tend to stick with. It sticks in our non-conscious feeling brain, and we end up living with that. And the next was availability bias. That simply means that we tend to make decisions based on what is most available in our brain. Our brains are very complex. Stuff comes in all the time. We hide it someplace in our brain, and then when we need it real quick. Usually the last thing is the first thing out. So we tend to use the most recent information we have, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's biased or not, whether it's influenced by whatever, we tend to put more weight on the information that we recall than often it's warranted, and that can get us into problems. So right now, we're also seeing a lot of availability bias where people are using the information that may be absolutely incorrect because this virus is fast moving, that might have been out there floating around as little as a couple of days ago, but today it's no longer valid. But people are going back and pulling that information back up and using it for their reality. So keep in mind that our reality is in our heads. What is in our heads is the way we perceive our earth, we perceive our environment and everybody around us. The problem is our brains are not computers, they're not recorders, they're not perfect, they're fallible. And sometimes that puts us in a position where we make less than perfect decisions. It's not a problem if you're running in to grab a cup of coffee or you're sitting back and go, I wish I could run in to get a cup of coffee. But it does become a problem for those big ticket items, those consequential decisions that can be life-changing. All I'm saying is remember that you have a tendency to anchor on the first number, you tend to use the information that is most current, and that may be wrong or muddled. Therefore, we make fuzzy or bad decisions. So keep that in mind. Finally, as we're talking about a lot of these findings and these biases and these heuristics and the things I talk about here that are coming from the book, they're not just for money. We're talking about human behavior, and human behavior is universal. It impacts everything you do and fail to do. So a lot of the things I'm talking about here, we put it in a money context or a spending context, but applies to any decision you have to take. And just remember that as humans, we're wired to stay alive. We're wired to run away from things that are scary. We want to make good decisions, but we never have total information. We never get it right 100% of the time. Sometimes our brains are not as good as we think they are, and it causes issues. Again, it's not a problem from those little decisions, those little spends, but if it's a big consequential thing, when I tell everybody, stop, breathe, count to 10, force your thinking process into the frontal part of your brain and move it out of your feeling brain. So that's what we covered this week. I want to thank everybody for being here. Please go out and share this with other folks. Have them join us. This is a community. The more people we have here, the more people that participate, the better feel we can develop for what you're looking for, why you join this place, how we can make this better, and give you some information to really help you in your day-to-day life, help you make better spending decisions, help you make better decisions in general, and as a result, be able to achieve the things that are important to you efficiently and effectively. So jump on at any time. Give me your thoughts. Give me some ideas. If you need anything specific, reach out, and we'll be back at you soon. Have a great weekend.